Good evening. Welcome to our town hall for December 3rd, 2015. This evening, joining me is Dominic Tremblay, who will be facilitating the French, and then also we have Alistair Comas, who's the past chair for the National Policy Advisory Committee. And welcome. So I'm Brad McCabe, the Executive Director for Youth Science Canada, and wanted to run you through some activities that we're doing this year and bring you up to speed on a variety of elements, including Canadawide 2016. So to view the town hall, no sign-in is required. Simply use the YouTube link provided, and obviously if you're at the stage, you've already done that. A recording of the town hall will be available after the session and can be viewed using the same YouTube link provided. You can also access it via Youth Science Canada's YouTube channel. To ask a question within the presentation, you must be logged into your Google or Gmail account. Alternatively, you can ask questions via Twitter using hashtag YSC Town Hall, and look forward to getting your questions and having you follow along.
OK, donc ce que Brad disait, c'est que pour l'Assemblée publique, vous n'avez pas besoin de vous brancher pour visionner. Après la présentation, il va y avoir un enregistrement et vous avez juste à utiliser le lien de YouTube pour voir l'enregistrement, le même lien. Et finalement, si vous voulez poser des questions, pour ça, il faut être branché sur votre compte, soit Gmail ou Google. Et puis, vous pouvez aussi utiliser Twitter avec le mot-clic YSC Town Hall.
Great. So an introduction of what we're going to cover today. We're going to do a review of Canadawide 2015, give you a preview of the Canadawide 2016 in Montreal, talk a little bit about parents and alumni at this year's fair, as well as provide you some policy updates. We'll address and fill you in on programs and outreach elements, as well as discussion and bring you up to speed on Canadawide 2018 and beyond.
Alors, aujourd'hui, on va vous parler de plusieurs éléments pour l'Expo Science pan-canadienne. Donc, entre autres, on va faire un retour sur l'Expo Science 2015. On va vous parler aussi de l'Expo Science 2016. On va vous parler de notre programme pour les parents, les anciennes et les anciens aussi à l'Expo Science pan-canadienne. On va avoir une mise à jour de nos politiques. On va vous parler aussi des différents programmes de Sciences Jeunesse Canada et de nos campagnes de sensibilisation. Et on va aussi vous parler de l'ESPC 2018, donc quels sont nos plans, et après ça aussi, après 2018.
Great. So in terms of the Canadawide 2015 review, we've received fantastic feedback from this year's fair. We had a great experience. We welcomed 469 finalists from all across the country, as well as representatives from Australia and Mexico. Almost 7,000 visitors visited over the 3 days of public viewing. To get a sense of that, normally we get between 4,000 and 5,000 public visitors, so it was a fantastic exposure to have that many extra people joining us in Fredericton. We also had a number of new initiatives. We piloted a hands-on engagement piece for visitors coming in, as well as providing an opportunity for our finalists and delegates to engage in these STEM programs. We had 60 program partners delivering hands-on STEM experiences facilitated by Science East. It was a great partnership and really well received. We also had 7 speakers over 13 sessions as part of our On the Podium speaker series, and that was attended by over 1,500 people. And we had speakers ranging from astronaut Bob Thirsk to Jamie Matthews, who is a prominent Canadian astrophysicist, as well as the Alumni Award winner for 2015, giving a whole range of discussions about the work that he does, as well as some more enlightening conversations about the science of Godzilla. We had discussions from one of our partners, AstraZeneca, bring somebody to speak about Pharmaceuticals 101, as well as Microsoft doing an online presentation with the students there, walking them through how to build an online game. So really well attended, really well engaged. We also launched a visitors package for parents, family, alumni, and friends, and we had over 280 people take up on that package. Really great engagement to have them involved with us in Fredericton. In terms of media, we had great exposure all across the country. Canadawide 2015 garnered 72 million media impressions across the country, both about the event as well as the participants and how they succeeded within the event. There were 200,000 engagements in social media across Facebook and Twitter. So roughly we have about 39,000 engagements a day. In comparison to 2014, it was a huge increase. In 2014, we ranged about 3,700 to 3,800 engagements a day. In terms of survey feedback, 99% of finalists rank their experience as good, very good, or excellent. 100% of the responding delegates rank their experience as good, very good, or excellent. We had some feedback about the arrival and departure day relative to the judging day, and that was necessary to do it in that fashion due to the location and wanting to have everybody come into Fredericton as opposed to having them come between the two cities, St. John and Moncton, and having to travel the distance to get to Fredericton if we wanted to get them all in on one day. So that's some elements that were very localized because of the location of Fredericton and travel plans there, but are being taken on board for 2016. We also had some feedback related to the awards dinner, and that was also a very localized setup because of the nature of the facility we were using, but we're also taking that under advisement for 2016. But overall, the fair was extremely well received. The students had a fantastic time and ranked it as one of the best fairs they've ever been to.
Alors, comme Brad vous a mentionné, on avait près de 500 visiteurs qui sont venus à l'exposition pan-canadienne, 500 participants et près de 7000 visiteurs. Au niveau des programmes pilotes, cette année, on avait beaucoup de nouveautés parce qu'on avait aussi des activités pratiques où les jeunes pouvaient aller explorer des activités scientifiques et découvrir le marché du travail. Et on avait aussi notre colloque scientifique La Tribune où on a eu des invités de marque qui sont venus présenter, incluant un astronaute et aussi incluant une variété de commanditaires qui ont aussi présenté des ateliers. Finalement, au niveau des médias, on a eu plusieurs impressions dans les journaux, dans les stations de télévision, les stations de radio. Les médias étaient très présents à l'Expo Science pan-canadienne et on a eu près de 200 000 personnes qu'on a rejointes par les médias sociaux. Donc, on a eu une belle augmentation par rapport à l'Expo Science 2014 au niveau de l'implication dans les médias sociaux. Finalement, dans les résultats du sondage, près de 99% des finalistes ont dit qu'ils ont apprécié leur séjour à l'Expo Science pan-canadienne. On a eu quelques critiques au niveau des arrivées qui se passaient sur 2 jours cette année au lieu d'une seule journée, mais ça c'est très local à Fredericton parce qu'on voulait que tout le monde puisse arriver à Fredericton comme tel plutôt que de répartir les gens dans les aéroports voisinants puis devoir faire un transport routier entre les aéroports et le site. Donc ça c'était spécifiquement pour cette année. Et aussi on a eu une critique au niveau du banquet parce que cette année c'était un cocktail dînatoire. Et puis ça aussi, encore une fois, c'était à cause des installations au centre où on nous a fait la remise des prix. C'était difficile d'avoir un vrai banquet, mais ça aussi, on en tient compte pour nos expositions à venir. Brad?
Great, thank you, Dominic. So looking ahead to 2016, we just completed the fall site visit this past weekend and are very excited to be launching into our activities for Montreal in 2016. They are very well organized and we're looking forward to having over 750 people joining us in Montreal. Arrival and departure date, just so you've got it well noted in your calendars. There will be 2 days of arrivals. People traveling by air and distances over 5 hours, and there will be some modifications within that, but everybody by air will be arriving on Saturday, May 14th. And then people coming from the local area within 2 hours of Montreal will be arriving on the Sunday the 15th by noon. And all departures will leave on Saturday, May 21st. So the structure of the week, we have everybody in by Sunday at noon. Traditionally we have the setup and safety check that will be going on through that day. In the evening will be the opening ceremony event, as well as judges training. Judging will occur all day on Monday, and will be followed by some evening activities planned by the host team. On the tour day on Tuesday, that will have a different flavor to it this year. The host team has organized for everyone to have hop-on, hop-off access all throughout Montreal. So there's a number of set sites around the city on the hop-on, hop-off bus. Some of the activities will be free for everyone to participate in. A number of activities have been well discounted, and I know the host team is continuing to work on what those final pricing will be. So just as you're organizing your tour day, there's plenty for you to do, and it will be very self-directed for you. So if you want to go out to the planetarium or to Montreal Biodome, or just go to Notre Dame or wander around the Old Port, you definitely have a lot of variety, and we'll have everything up on the website detailing out anything that will have a cost, so you can plan that in your organizing for your team this year. In terms of the public viewing, Wednesday all day, Thursday morning and Friday morning will be public viewing, as well as we'll have a whole series of programming within those days. So building upon what we launched in Fredericton this year, we're going to have a number of program partners who will be delivering hands-on science engagement throughout the hall. We'll also have a speaker series running in the main gym at McGill, that it's about 50 feet from where the exhibit hall is. And we've got a number of speakers that we're putting into that, and we're continuing to build upon that list. But we have some slight changes from how we've run things in the past. The McGill Science Experience will actually be part of the finalist rotation rather than a standalone event prior to public viewing. So we'll have the hall open for the public to come in. We're expecting a really strong number of students and school visits coming through. So similar to what we did in Fredericton this year, having about 1/6 of the students rotating off for an hour at a time to get a chance to experience the hands-on programming, to get to visit with one another, to go and see one of the speakers or participate with some of our sponsors. It's a great chance for the finalists to feel that they're getting as much out of the programming as any of the visiting students. We have a new element this year. The Quebec STEM Teachers Conference, normally hosted in June of each year, is actually being moved up to run alongside Canadawide. So there's a great opportunity for a number of STEM teachers from Quebec, and it's also being opened up to people from all across the country to join us and get a chance to see Canada-wide in place and celebrate the students' projects and everything that they've done. But also for the delegates, it gives them a chance to engage in some great professional development. So what we've done this year is we won't be hosting workshops in the way that they normally have been done. They will be incorporated into the STEM Teachers Conference that we'll be running the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we've got the circulation for that will be coming out in the next month or so. A new addition for this year is the Delegate Ambassador Program. So with the success we've had with the Youth Ambassador Program, we've modeled an adult version, which will have a number of delegate ambassadors supporting the relations and activities for all of the delegates. That's being led by Corey Conroy, and the two other designated ambassadors will be the chair of the National Policy Advisory Committee, Mervat, and the vice chair, Heather Weber. So we'll also be recruiting 3 other delegate ambassadors, and the recruitment information for that will go out the beginning of January, and the application process will run very similar to the Youth Ambassador program. So the Youth Ambassador program is being led by Vivian Pang again this year, and we'll be having 7 youth ambassadors on site in Montreal, and we're looking forward to continuing that great program. We get some amazing feedback from the students about how they engage in that. In terms of registration fees and equalized travel, just want to remind everybody to make sure you've read your affiliation guide. I know some people tend not to look at that until later in the year, but there have been some slight changes that we want to make sure you're aware of. This year's fees equate out to the same amount or very close to last year's fees. It's $850 for travel and $875 for registration, plus you get the $25 rebate from the Equalized Travel program from last year. So the total comes out to nets out to $1,700 per participant. And Dominic?
OK, donc pour l'exposition sur 2016, au niveau des arrivées et des départs, cette année, ça va avoir encore lieu sur 2 jours, mais ce qui se passe, c'est qu'on va avoir les gens qui viennent de loin, donc qui viennent par avion, ou qui ont plusieurs heures de route à faire, qui vont arriver le samedi, et les élèves, les finalistes et les délégués qui sont de tout près, vont arriver le dimanche. Le jugement va avoir lieu le lundi. Et puis, le mardi, c'est notre journée des excursions. Et les excursions, cette année, on fait quelque chose d'un petit peu différent. C'est-à-dire que les élèves, les finalistes et les délégués vont avoir accès à une passe pour le transport en commun un peu partout à Montréal. Donc, ce qui va leur permettre d'aller visiter qu'est-ce qu'ils veulent. On va évidemment avoir des réductions ou des coupons là, pour pouvoir participer à différentes activités. Donc, vraiment, les finalistes vont pouvoir parler à leurs délégués et choisir qu'est-ce qui les intéresse vraiment dans la ville de Montréal. Cette année, tous les départs vont avoir lieu le samedi 21 mai. Au niveau de la structure de la semaine, ben, après le jugement, qu'est-ce qu'on va avoir et la journée des discussions, on va avoir les visites du public. Et les visites du public, cette année, on a encore la rotation des finalistes, c'est-à-dire que les finalistes vont faire toutes sortes d'activités en plus de présenter leur projet, ce qui leur permet là, que ce soit un peu moins monotone. Et toutes les expériences dans les laboratoires de l'Université McGill cette année vont avoir lieu en même temps que l'exposition, donc en même temps que les visites du public. On a aussi évidemment la remise des prix cette année. Et puis, au niveau du congrès des enseignants, qu'est-ce qui se passe? C'est que cette année, on avait toujours un congrès STEM au Québec qui avait lieu en juin. Cette année, on a décidé d'incorporer le congrès STEM pour les enseignantes et enseignants pendant l'exposition pan-canadienne. Donc, ça va amener plusieurs enseignants et enseignantes du Québec à venir voir l'exposition pan-canadienne, mais aussi nos délégués vont pouvoir profiter de ce perfectionnement professionnel-là pendant l'exposition pan-canadienne. On a aussi le programme des ambassadrices et ambassadeurs, mais cette année, c'est des ambassadrices et ambassadeurs pour délégués, pas seulement pour les finalistes. Et ce sont des adultes qui ont été délégués dans le passé qui vont appuyer les nouveaux délégués. Évidemment, notre programme pour les ambassadeurs des finalistes, qui a eu beaucoup de succès dans les années passées, va avoir encore lieu. Au niveau du programme des ambassadeurs pour les délégués, on va envoyer un courriel très bientôt. Et puis, il va y avoir un formulaire à remplir au mois de janvier si vous êtes intéressé à postuler pour ces postes. Et finalement, au niveau des frais d'inscription, cette année, le total va être pratiquement le même que l'an passé, c'est-à-dire aux alentours de 1 700 $ pour les frais de déplacement et pour l'inscription. Brad?
Merci. So in terms of parents and alumni at Canadawide 2016, we had a great response to the parents package this year in Fredericton, and are actively working toward parents and family program for 2016. The invitation will include to public viewing, public workshops and seminars. We'll also include ticket to the awards ceremony, and we've got some great preferential hotel rates with McGill. McGill University has taken over a number of hotels near the university, turning them into residence during the year and then hotels during the summer. So you'd be nice and close, as well as in some fantastic accommodation there. And the rates are probably about 2/3 of what a standard hotel would cost. So it's a great opportunity for parents and families to come visit. We haven't finalized all of the elements for it, but are working with the host team to see what other benefits we can put into the package. This year, a dinner won't be included in it, so that helps the price out quite a bit. But we'll have more information coming out in the new year relative to that program. As well, this year we're actively promoting having alumni come and visit us at Canadawide. So we're offering a similar package to the parents, but we're also organizing a Canadawide homecoming event, which will run on the Wednesday evening, and we're looking at putting together some special speakers as part of the speaker series, and have them join us for that special event that evening, and then a reception to follow. Dominic?
OK, donc cette année aussi, ce qu'on va avoir pour l'Exposition 2016, c'est qu'on va avoir une programmation pour les parents. Un peu comme l'an passé, la programmation pour les parents va inclure les visites du public, va inclure un accès à la cérémonie de remise des prix, va aussi inclure l'accès aux ateliers, aux séminaires et aux colloques qui ont lieu pendant l'exposition pan-canadienne. Donc, toutes les activités qui sont incluses là, dans les visites vont être incluses dans ce forfait-là. Et évidemment, on va inclure des tarifs préférentiels pour les parents qui viennent de loin, tarifs préférentiels pour les hôtels. Ça va revenir à peu près à 2/3 du prix régulier des hôtels. Finalement, on a aussi une programmation pour les anciennes et les anciens de l'exposition pan-canadienne. Un peu comme les parents, vous allez avoir accès à toutes les mêmes choses, mais on va organiser une activité de retrouvailles le mercredi soir. Donc, ça va leur permettre là, de se revoir mercredi soir. Brad?
Great. And Alistair?
Thanks, Brad. So tonight we're just going to cover a few of the details of just a few of the policy changes we made. There's going to be a full listing sent out shortly that will list all the policies that were updated this year and give a bullet point preview of each one of all the exact changes. So tonight we just want to cover some of the more important ones. That first one being 1.3.1, which is the National Policy Advisory Committee. So based on the direction that the Board of Directors gave us last year, this policy used to be the National Science Fair Committee policy, so it's now being revamped under this new name of National Policy Advisory Committee. And so that's led to quite a few significant changes to the policy. And so, as Brad alluded to earlier, NPAC members will no longer attend Canadawide Science Fair in official capacity other than the chair and the vice chair. And the delegate ambassadors will now be appointed for the duration of the Canadawide Science Fair. And this ended up affecting a few of the different responsibilities that used to be under the National Science Fair Committee. So this included workshops and forums, which are now being organized this year, as Brad said, by the STEM conference, and in future years directly by Youth Science Canada. And as well, safety checks will now fall under the organization of a safety check coordinator who will be assigned. And this year it's Roland, so many of you will be very familiar with Roland. The other big change in this policy is that the vice chair elections have now been moved to online voting before the Canadawide Science Fair event, and this now matches the election of the vice chair along with the election of the regional representatives, which is also done online before. So we definitely encourage people who may be interested in joining this committee to take a look in the early in the new year, where the nomination forms will be sent out. Another one that we made quite a few changes to was 3.1.5, which is the Canadawide Science Fair Equalized Travel Plan. And this one, there was a few things we wanted to clarify. So one of them was, unfortunately, regions are responsible for all baggage fees. That was something that the airlines added last year and kind of caught everyone a bit by surprise. Unfortunately, there's no feasible way for Science Canada to cover those baggage fees, and that's because of the way that the airline collects them. And so that the regions will have to take care of that at the airport themselves. We also ended up updating the date from April to March due the deadline for paying the balance of the travel fee, and this is related to deadlines for payments that the airlines have set for Science Canada, so that's now been matched up. And one of the issues we tried to address this year was to do with surface travel and the arrival of when students will come on site. There was some concerns that were raised from the past year about regions arriving by surface on the day before judging and arriving late, or having very, very long travel days in the morning and then having to set up their projects. Although that won't be nearly as much of a concern in Montreal just due to its location. In future years, we wanted to make sure that there was some policy set up surrounding this to try to help control long travel days by surface. So it's now been set that groups with surface travel that is more than 5 hours away will have to arrive at least 24 hours before the start of judging. So this way we should have only those regions which are 5 hours or less driving in on the actual day before the judging, and still giving those students enough time to set up their projects, pass safety check, and kind of relax and get into the feel for the university before the judging the next day. As well, there was some concerns about regions who are having very long travel days by air, and so although after consulting in terms of the travel, that it's not theoretical to put an actual limited travel time, we just made a note in the policy that YSC will make its best effort to limit travel times based on the balance between cost and airline availability. Dominic?
Merci Alastair. Donc, au niveau des changements des politiques, on a la politique de l'ancien Comité canadien des expo-sciences, qui est maintenant le Comité consultatif national en matière de politique. On a changé beaucoup cette politique-là, veut pas, parce que le comité a changé de nom et aussi changé d'objectif. Les membres du comité ne seront plus à l'Expo-sciences pan-canadienne comme tels. Ils peuvent venir, par exemple, par le programme des ambassadeurs et ambassadrices des délégués. Mais on a fait des changements dans cette politique-là pour tenir compte de ça, incluant aussi un nouveau poste pour la sécurité, qui était une ancienne responsabilité du Comité canadien des expo-sciences. On a aussi inclus l'élection du vice-président qui va maintenant se faire en ligne. Donc, ça a été inclus dans la politique. Au niveau du programme de péréquation des frais de déplacement, le 3.1.5, on a fait des changements. Par exemple, l'an passé, les frais de bagages ont été ajoutés par les compagnies aériennes. Donc, cette année, on inclut que les régions sont responsables des frais de bagages. Les dates pour le paiement du solde des frais de déplacement, on était obligé de déplacer la date d'avril à mars, tout simplement parce qu'on a des échéanciers avec les compagnies aériennes et on doit payer les billets d'avion plus tôt. Et finalement, étant donné qu'il y avait des problèmes l'an passé avec les élèves, les finalistes là, qui arrivaient un peu à la dernière minute pour installer leur projet, on a mis une nouvelle politique que ceux qui doivent se déplacer sur une distance de plus de 5 heures par la route, devront arriver au moins 24 heures avant le début du jugement. Et aussi pour les régions qui doivent voyager sur de très, très longues distances, on a mis aussi que Sciences Jeunesse Canada fera tout son possible pour réduire les temps de déplacement. Alastair?
Thanks, Dominic. There's just 3 other policies we wanted to touch on tonight. So the first one would be 1.7.1, so that has to do with the policy review schedule and process. And so the issues we've found in the past is that when motions were no longer being directly at the fair and were ahead of the fair, we weren't really seeing a lot of discussion on motions, not many motions were coming through. And our belief was a lot of that was because regions are busy with their own fairs and preparation during that time period. So we're going to try something new this year, which we're hoping is going to stimulate some more motions and discussion. And that's going to be by moving the motion process to actually right after the fair. So the idea behind that is that delegates can still get together during the fair, can talk about things, decide what they like or maybe what they feel needs some improvement, and then those motions can be put together after the fair and submitted by May 31st. And then the NPAC committee will review those motions and see about then putting them on an online forum for discussion, and then online voting will be held before the end of June in order to actually address those motions. And this then allows the NPAC committee to review those motions over the summertime and make sure that all those changes are completed and up on the website by October 1st the next year. The next policy is 3.1.2.6, and this is Canadawide Science Fair responsibilities for finalists. And this was a relatively small change, but we did want to bring it to everyone's attention. Now that the public viewing has been put together and there's rotating activities during that time, and students are going to be interacting with sponsors throughout that time, we've just tweaked the wording so that all finalists have to be present for judging day, all public viewing hours, and the awards ceremony. And so that was just to clarify, because previously students would sometimes, the wording of it was that they had to be there from judging to the end of the awards ceremony, but now there's a tour day in the middle of that. So this is just to provide some clarification, and it may also affect temporary leave of absences for IB exams, so it's something to keep in mind. As well, the last policy I wanted to touch on tonight was 3.1.2.7, which is responsibilities for delegates. And this hasn't changed very much, but there's been one kind of key addition. The responsibility always listed that delegates had to act as a judicious parent, but we also wanted to add some clarification that delegates must always be accessible to their finalists as well. So we're not saying that delegates have to spend 24/7 with the finalists, but just to clarify that the finalists have to always know where their delegates are. Those delegates have to be available in case there's an emergency or their finalists need to reach them for whatever purpose they may have. And we also just strengthened the wording a little bit in terms of some of the other programming that is put on for delegates, and that they are expected to attend and participate fully in all the Canadawide Science Fair programming, and it's not optional programming, but that it's an expectation of delegates to be there. Dominic?
Oui, donc au niveau des politiques, on a aussi la 1.7.1 qui est la politique sur les fameuses motions du comité consultatif. Donc, les motions habituellement étaient votées à l'Expo Sciences pan-canadienne, étaient discutées et on passait au vote. Maintenant que le vote ne se produit plus à l'Expo Sciences pan-canadienne, ils vont être discutés sur un forum de discussion après l'Expo Sciences pan-canadienne et le vote va se produire en ligne au mois de juin, ce qui donne tout l'été au comité consultatif pour changer les politiques et les afficher avant le 1er octobre sur le site web. Évidemment, on encourage les délégués à en discuter pendant l'Expo Sciences pan-canadienne, mais il n'y aura plus de réunion formelle pour ça. Au niveau des responsabilités des finalistes, cette année, à cause qu'il y a des changements au niveau de l'horaire, on a changé un petit peu la façon dont on formule cette politique-là. On dit que les élèves doivent être disponibles et à l'Expo Sciences pendant le jugement, pendant toutes les visites du public et la cérémonie de remise des prix. Évidemment, ces petits changements-là au niveau de la formulation de la politique, ça pourrait peut-être influencer les élèves qui font les tests du DI. Finalement, au niveau des responsabilités des délégués, on a ajouté une formulation là, qui dit que les délégués devraient être toujours disponibles pour leurs élèves. Ça ne veut pas dire qu'ils doivent être à 100% tout le temps avec les élèves, mais s'il y avait urgence ou problème, ils doivent être toujours disponibles et les élèves doivent savoir en tout temps où est leur délégué. Finalement, au niveau de la participation aux activités, on a changé aussi la formulation pour s'assurer que les délégués réalisent que les activités qu'on prépare pour eux, incluant par exemple le congrès cette année, ce ne sont pas des activités optionnelles, mais on s'attend que les délégués participent à toutes ces activités-là.
Great. So programs and outreach. Other activities at Canadawide, at UScience Canada, just wanted to give you an update. Smarter Science is still a very active program. We are continuing to grow throughout throughout the country, and we're also developing some new partnerships. So we had a partnership that developed this past year with 4-H Canada, and we're modeling that with some other potential partners to bring smarter science beyond the classroom and bringing it to other activities, as well as looking at how we can augment the programming we're delivering in our current workshops. And we have a pilot program that we're running with the Thames Valley School Board in London to see different elements within Smarter Science to add to its content. In terms of outreach and webinars, we are continuing to do our Invent the Future and Youth Science Month outreach. That goes to 16,000 schools across the country. Your Invent the Future went out in October, and if you haven't received a copy of it, it is available via our website. We also picked up on the Getting Started webinars again this year. We had great response last year, and we changed it slightly for 2015 and had a panel of Canadawide alumni delivering a peer-mentored Getting Started webinar, and we had those 3 sessions over the past week, both in English and French. Very well attended on both ends, and those seminars are also available on the Youth Science Canada YouTube channel. And in January, we'll be running 2 English sessions for Stepping Up, as well as a session in French, which will be the last week of January. Dominic?
Alors, maintenant, au niveau de nos programmes, le programme Éducation continue à faire des pas. Cette année, on a des nouveaux partenariats aussi. On a notre partenariat avec les 4H qui font des ateliers éducation un peu partout au pays. Et aussi, on a un nouveau partenariat avec le conseil scolaire de Thames Valley dans la région de London qui a un programme sur l'évaluation des enquêtes scientifiques. Donc ça, c'était des beaux partenariats. Et on continue d'offrir les ateliers un peu partout au pays aussi à Sciences Jeunesse Canada. Au niveau de la sensibilisation, le bulletin de liaison Invente le futur a été envoyé par courriel à toutes les écoles, près de 20 000 écoles partout au pays, en anglais et en français. Et on a aussi nos webinaires pour commencer et pour aller plus loin qui ont été présentés la semaine passée. Donc, c'est un groupe d'anciennes et d'anciens des expo-sciences pan-canadiennes qui ont fait ces présentations-là pour aider les élèves qui commencent un nouveau projet.
And other activities we have coming out as new programs. Very shortly, we're just waiting on the website to be completed by Spin Master's team. We will be launching the Spin Master Toy Competition. So to all of our constituency across the country, and as well as trying to reach out to new individuals, we will have an opportunity for students to create a new toy or game. It's open to grade 7 and to 12 students nationwide, and they have until January 31st to submit a new idea, and there's an online form for doing so. But it can be pretty wide range of a new toy or game, and the top 5 submissions will actually be invited to Canadawide to showcase their concept, with the winner being selected there. There's a cash award associated with that, as well as an opportunity to develop the concept with Spin Master directly. And should the toy go to market, there's a royalty that would continue along with that. So a great way to engage new people within science fair and broadening what STEM means across the country. Another new program, this is part of our relationship with L'Oréal Canada, something called Innovate Her, and it's a Girls in Science outreach program. We're going to be working toward developing some webinars and webcasts, as well as podcast elements to be delivered by Canada-wide and Team Canada female alumni, and providing curriculum-based activities that would support teachers and girls across the country to inspire them to become active in hands-on science engagement, particularly focused on getting them involved in science projects. Dominic?
Oui, donc cette année aussi une nouveauté, on a notre fameux concours de jouets Spin Master. Ça nous permet d'aller chercher des jeunes qui ne sont pas nécessairement des jeunes traditionnels là, au niveau des expositions, mais des jeunes qui ont un intérêt pour concevoir des jouets. Et puis ça, on a ce partenariat-là avec Spin Master. La date limite pour la soumission des idées de jouets est le 31 janvier. Et puis suite à ça, il va y avoir une sélection et les meilleurs jouets, les élèves vont être invités à venir les présenter à l'Expo Science pan-canadienne et il va y avoir là une sélection qui va être faite aussi. On a aussi le programme Innovateur cette année. C'est un programme de sensibilisation pour encourager les filles à s'intéresser aux sciences. Donc, il va y avoir toute une série de vidéos, de webinaires qui vont être montés, qui vont impliquer des anciennes de l'Expo Science pan-canadienne pour donner le goût aux jeunes filles de s'intéresser et de faire des sciences. Brad?
Great, and then other activities, particularly looking at our international opportunities. The Team Canada ICEF registration deadline is coming up very soon. It's December 15th. If you know of anyone interested in submitting for Team Canada, ensure that they've registered and got their application completed by that date, and then we'll be shortlisting in the new year with presentations being done to the judging team in March. And in terms of our other international opportunities, we're reviewing our engagement with those opportunities. We receive numerous invitations for youth to participate in international fairs. And as an organization, we simply don't have the funds to support all of the opportunities presented to us. So the ICEF structure and participation will remain the same, but over the next few months, we'll be looking at the other international invitations we receive. We receive invitations from MILSET, from the London International Youth Forum, from the Stockholm's Youth Science Symposium, and a whole variety of other opportunities. So we're looking at how we can make these available to youth who are interested. And the plan will be looking at a competitive application model with selected participants competing internationally in a self-funded model. So more information will be coming out on that in the new year as we look at the plan and how that program would run. But just want to make sure everybody's aware of some of the new ideas. Dominic?
Oui, donc au niveau des programmes internationaux, on a encore le programme Équipe Canada ICEF. Et puis cette année, là, on voudrait que vous rappeliez aux jeunes dans votre région que la date limite pour s'inscrire est le 15 décembre. Et par la suite, nous, on aura un processus de sélection des projets pour former notre Équipe Canada. Mais s'il vous plaît, veuillez rappeler aux jeunes de votre région la fameuse date limite. On est aussi en train d'évaluer tous les programmes internationaux parce qu'on reçoit énormément d'invitations pour participer à toutes sortes d'expositions internationales un peu partout au pays. Et évidemment, on a des fonds limités chez Sciences Jeunesse Canada. Donc, on est en train de regarder les différents programmes pour sélectionner les programmes là, qui sont les plus appropriés pour nos jeunes Canadiennes et Canadiens. Brad?
Great. So looking at Canada-wide 2018 and beyond. So starting with Canada-wide 2018, the logistical responsibility will be changing. So YSC will not be seeking a local host team anymore. The current responsibilities held by YSC and the host committee will be merged into one project team that will be led nationally. And that really creates a cohesive delivery of logistics and everything moving forward, and we're really excited about the new delivery model. In terms of site selection, an RFP process was conducted through the end of 2014, and Ottawa has been selected as the location for 2018. We're still taking some time to look at 2019 and 2020 as we received numerous applications. In fact, there were 22 applications from across the country, and we're doing some final review of shortlisted sites for East and for the West. So we're hoping to have that information completed by early in the new year, and we'll be able to announce 2019 and 2020 by the time we get to Canada-wide this year, if not sooner. Dominic? Dominic?
Alors, pour l'Exposition pan-canadienne 2018 et au-delà, eh bien, cette année, à partir de cette année-là, il va y avoir un changement au niveau de la logistique. On ne sera plus à la recherche d'un comité organisateur local. Donc, qu'est-ce qui va se passer? C'est que les activités, on va avoir une équipe nationale qui va gérer l'organisation et la logistique de l'Exposition pan-canadienne. Et on a le plaisir de vous annoncer que l'Exposition pan-canadienne 2018, le site a été choisi et il s'agit de la ville d'Ottawa. Pour 2019 et 2020, évidemment, on est toujours à regarder les applications qu'on a reçues dans l'Est et dans l'Ouest et on devrait être en mesure de vous annoncer la sélection des sites d'ici l'Exposition pan-canadienne, probablement avant, mais au plus tard l'Exposition pan-canadienne 2016. Brad?
Great. Well, thank you everyone for participating today. I know we've got one question just regarding the travel fee and comparing it to the travel fees last time we were in Ottawa, and we are aware that the fees have gone up relative to that, but just wanted to note that that question has been asked, and we do our best to make sure that we've got a balanced plan for everyone, but just we have to ensure that all the costs are covered leading into all the fees that we put out to the participants each year. And if you have any other questions, please send your comments, thoughts, questions to myself. It's brad.mccabe@youthscience.ca. We will be monitoring questions on the YouTube feed, as well as if you use the hashtag YSE Town Hall. And this recording will be live and is available on the link that you're using right now for anyone else to watch and follow up should they not be able to attend. And again, thank you so much for participating in this and looking forward to a great year this year.
Alors, on vous remercie de vous être joint à nous ce soir. Si jamais vous avez d'autres questions, parce qu'on a reçu une question d'ailleurs justement sur les frais au niveau des frais de déplacement et des frais d'inscription, et Brad a mentionné qu'il doit s'assurer en tant que DG que tous les frais pour organiser l'exposition pan-canadienne soient couverts et qu'on ne soit pas dans le trou. Mais si vous avez des questions, des idées, des commentaires, n'hésitez pas à les envoyer à Brad, notre DG, c'est-à-dire à bradmccabe@sciencejeunesse.ca. Merci.
Thank you and good night.